Hi, Janet here in the ADORNit studio today, and I'm excited about this project to share with you. We have another kind of alter your clothes project, a little anthro-inspired shirt alteration type of a project that I had lots of ideas for, and I've got several different ways to show. I had this sweater, just this plain blue sweater. I got it at Target probably 2 years ago. It's just plain. I didn't wear it very often. It was a little tighter than I wanted it to be, and so I got looking around for some fabric. I thought I'm gonna make something cute out of that sweater so that I'll like it better. So the first thing I did was add a piece down the back to make it a little bit wider so that it wouldn't be as tight as I didn't want it to be. So let me just show you really quick what that looks like. And in just a minute, we'll talk about how I did that. But it made it fit just a lot better. I was a lot happier with the fit. And then I agonized and laid in bed and wondered about what to do around the neck. I knew I wanted to use the fabric somewhere on the front, and this fabric is an older fabric for us here at ADORNit. It's from our Long Live Vintage line of fabric, that we still have available. And I thought it would be cute and kind of make this sweater look a little more springy, but I just didn't know. I considered making a collar, doing a ruffle, and I thought, oh, maybe I could do the fabric yo-yos on the collar. So I did, and this is how it turned out, and I'm quite pleased with it. And so we thought we'd show you how to make those and a couple of options for how you can alter either a shirt that you already have or a new shirt. I've got a couple of different ideas to show you. The first thing we need to do is learn how to do a yo-yo. And there's lots of tutorials on YouTube on how to do this, so maybe you already know how, but if you don't, it's pretty simple. And I'll just quick show you what I do. First of all, you need a circle of fabric. And this is another fun project that makes good use of scraps. So I've got a scrap of fabric here and a pen. You need to decide how big you want your finished yo-yo to be, and whatever dimension that is, say it's 2 inches across. If you want it to be 2 inches across finished, you need to have a circle that's double that plus a ½ inch. So I want my circle that I cut out to be about 4½ inches across. And you can use a compass to draw a circle and draw it on cardboard and make yourself a pattern, or you can just find something in your house. This plastic cup happened to be just the size that I wanted for my finished size yo-yos to be. So on the wrong side of your fabric, trace the circle. We'll see if we can get this pen to work. There we go. And then just cut it out. Now when I do this, if I know I'm going to be using a lot, after I trace the circle, then I'll take and fold the fabric back and forth like this so that I can cut out several at a time. And then just hold it and cut out the circle. It needs to be fairly accurate, but not, you don't have to drive yourself crazy, because you're going to turn this edge over and run a stitch along the edge of it. So this part doesn't have to be too time consuming or technical. Okay, there's a stack of circles. Now the next thing that you do, and I think I might use, this is a fun project because it's so portable. So when I go somewhere that I'm going to just be sitting, if I'm at a ball game or somewhere, this is a really easy project to take with you, to make these little yo-yos, and you can just sit and accomplish something while you're sitting. So to make the yo-yo, you need a needle and thread, just one thickness. You don't need to double the thread. And then make sure it's strong thread, because you're going to pull on it. Then barely turn the edge of the fabric circle over towards the wrong side and start stitching. And you'll want to just do like a running stitch, and I do maybe every 1/4 of an inch. So just go in and out and in and out a couple of times, and then pull it, and then continue on, just folding the edge of the circle over and running this stitch all the way around. Now, if you take smaller stitches, the opening in your yo-yo will tend to be bigger, and then bigger stitches will create a tighter, a smaller opening on your yo-yo when you gather it all together. I think mine are probably somewhere in between, but my opening tends to close up all the way, which is what I wanted. I'll kind of show you as soon as we get there. Okay, so I got all the way around back to where I started with my stitching. And then you just want to take it, kind of put your thumb in the middle and gather it all together. Just pull your thread until it gathers all together. And then with your fingers, continue to hold on to that thread, but with your fingers just pull the sides of the fabric out so that it forms a flat circle that's all gathered together in the middle. Now ordinarily I would use blue thread to match this so that it wouldn't show, but I thought maybe it'd be easier for you to see if I used white thread. Then once you get it to this point, you just want to take and put a few stitches in the center section to hold it all together. So just like this, just kind of grab one edge of the gathers and then grab the other edge of the gathers and then just pull it tight, and then kind of rotate it and grab it from the other direction and pull it tight. And then when you feel like you're good and secure, and it only takes maybe, I usually do 4 or 5 stitches. When you feel like you're nice and secure, then just take and tie it in a knot, tie the thread in a knot. The way my mother taught me how to do that is to do a stitch, leave a loop, put the needle through the loop, then with your fingers pull the thread down tight, then make another loop, put the thread through that second loop, and then pull it down tight, and that will knot the thread. Sometimes you have to push it with your thumbnail, and then you can trim your thread off, and you've got one fabric yo-yo. Okay, now that you know how to make your yo-yo, it's time to do the fun part, which is the cutting of the shirt. Now, you don't have to do this part. If you have a shirt that fits great already, then don't worry about cutting down the back. But if you want to add this detail like I did on the back of the sweater that I'm wearing, then this is a fun thing to do. This is a t-shirt from Old Navy. It has kind of a narrow fit, which the older I get, the less I love on myself. So for this one, I think I wanted to add a piece down the back to make it a little bit wider. And I have already cut this, as you can see, but I'll show you quickly how I do it. It's just very simple. Before it's cut, I just pick up the shirt right in the back, right in the middle, kind of shake it out like this, and then lay it down flat on my work surface. And then make sure it's laying nice and flat. And then take a really good pair of scissors and just cut and kind of hold it as you go and just cut right up the center of the back of the t-shirt. And that's all you have to do. It doesn't have to be super critical. As long as it's mostly straight, you'll be great. And then you're ready to add the inset or the fabric piece. I decided I wanted my fabric piece in the back to be 2 inches wide. And I like to do, for this part, I like to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance on either side. And so I cut a strip of fabric that's 3 inches wide and about 1.5 inches longer on the top and the bottom, so about 3 inches longer than the length of the t-shirt itself, because you're going to fold over the top and the bottom to hem at the neck and at the bottom. And then we're just going to pin it on. So you start on one side and leaving yourself that 1.5 inches at the top or thereabouts. Just pin right sides together. So the right side of the t-shirt to the right side of the fabric strip. Pin it all the way down. And then once you get it pinned all the way from the top to the bottom, you'll take it to your sewing machine. And like I said, using a 1/2 inch seam allowance, which is just my preference. It doesn't have to be a 1/2 inch. You could use a 1/4 inch. I just like to have that much. You'll stitch it on. You'll just stitch a little past the hem of the t-shirt. You don't need to stitch all the way to the end because you've got this tail that's going to be folded up. All right. And if you just let it feed through your sewing machine, don't pull really hard. The knit of the t-shirt shouldn't stretch. It should just sew right on there. Okay, then to sew the second part on, the second half, just bring the t-shirt around. And again, on the other side of the back of the t-shirt that you cut, you're going to pin it right sides together. For this one, you want to get it, line it up with the edge of the neck of the t-shirt in the same place as the first edge so that it will line up and not be wonky on your back of your neck when you're wearing it. So we'll pin this section together and then we'll take it over and sew that. Okay. Now you can turn your t-shirt right side out. And there you have your inset. And then the last thing you would want to do is fold under just a little bit and then fold under again so that you're just even with the edge of the hem of the t-shirt. And that's why it's kind of important that you make sure that you're stitching, that the edge of the t-shirt hits in the same place. It's a little more critical on the neck, but you can pin it and then just run a line of stitching right straight across there. Same thing on the neck. You'd want to trim your threads, obviously, but fold it under and then run a line of stitching right across where the stitching is on the t-shirt and across the fabric, the cotton fabric, and across, and that will hem at the neck and at the bottom. So that finishes the back piece. And then the last thing you need to do is the front. Okay, you've got your back finished. Now you get to add your yo-yos to the front. I chose the blue that I showed you for the demonstration yo-yo and another coordinating fabric that has a lighter background, but the same colors. And I think for this t-shirt, I'm just going to do it from shoulder seam to shoulder seam and not go all the way around to the back. So you can just lay them out and, you know, place them where you want them to be. And then see if you get to this point and you're a little over, you can just kind of adjust. There, that looks perfect. Then I usually just pin them on, or pin them into place. We'll just pin a couple so you can see. And then hand stitch them on, and that's just really easy. Again, just take your same needle and thread that you used before, and then working from the back, I usually hold on to it and pull the pin out so it doesn't get in my way. Just hold the yo-yo in place from the back. Make sure you knot your thread first and just take a couple of stitches through the shirt and the yo-yo. In the back. You could, if you wanted to, stitch more all the way around the edge of the yo-yo, so it anchors the entire yo-yo to the shirt. I didn't want that look. I wanted it to be more with the edges kind of free, so I just hand stitched it in the middle. So just take 2 or 3 stitches to anchor it down, and then tie your thread off in a knot again, like we did earlier. And do that with all of your yo-yos, and you're done. And before I leave you, I want to show you another idea for another t-shirt that I whipped up really fast with this same idea in mind that I thought was so cute for spring. This is just a regular t-shirt, so it has more of a boxy fit. So I didn't alter the back at all. I think it's going to be fine width-wise, and I didn't want anything on the back. Instead, I added a little pocket on the front. But I used fabric from our Crazy for Daisy line, the Juicy Fruit colorway, and just used 3 different colors, and then added a little pocket on the t-shirt, and what a cute idea for spring. So I hope you got inspired for some projects you might want to do on your own to alter a t-shirt you already have, or something that you might want to buy. Remember to look for ADORNit on YouTube, so you'll have a chance to see all of our fun videos. We have lots of project videos and tutorials for your enjoyment and inspiration. And thank you for watching.